need this chapter 3A data, alright? So mainly we'll be using mainly this data yang saya baru share, alright? So yang ni you have two worksheet. First is on your data, chapter 3 data, and the second sheet is on your answer. So we will put your answer here shortly, alright? And the second file that you need would be this file, pivot table and pivot chat. And yang ni contain the question and the instruction for you to answer the question. Alright, so for example, for the first analysis on region analysis, the question asks you to get the total number of customers by region. So these are the instruction for you to answer the question. Nanti kita buat sama-sama. Alright, and the third notes that you need would be this PowerPoint file. Ini just untuk revision you all lah, right? So business analytic and financial modeling, FIN534, chapter 3A. Kenapa dia chapter 3A? Because your chapter 3, data visualization is divided into two. Chapter 3A is on data visualization using pivot table, and chapter 3B is on the data visualization using Tableau. Cuma Tableau tu nanti saya check because kita masih tak dapat license untuk Tableau lah. So basically untuk this morning session, we will try to cover chapter 3A, data visualization using pivot table, Excel. Now to begin with this class, could you please open your data? Chapter 3 data. Again, we'll be using this data plus this question dalam bentuk words tu, right? So to begin with this class, I need you to open this file supaya kita boleh buat sama-sama, alright? Boleh nampak tak Excel ni adik-adik semua, rakan-rakan sebaya?
Boleh, Doktor.
Boleh.
Boleh, sir.
Alright, thanks. Okay, now my first question, how to arrange this data supaya nampak cantik? What is the best way for you to do? For you to rearrange this data, columns and everything so that the data looks nice. Macam mana nak buat? The best way. Cepat. 1 markah, 2 markah. Anyone? Data ni kalau you tengok, data ni tak cantik kan? Macam saya lah, tak elok, gemuk, ada kurus sekejap, alright? So for example, yang ni kolom dia hilang, kolom ni kecil, alright? So what is the easiest way for you to rearrange this column, cell and everything so that your data will look nice? Apa cara dia paling mudah? Ada tak? Siapa tahu?
Kalau
Selain daripada you klik satu-satu kan? Macam ni? Ataupun you klik bawah ni juga? Ada tak cara yang cepat sikit? Especially when you have lots of data, for example 1000 data and everything, and data you dalam bentuk ni. Ada tak the easiest way? Ada yang tahu? Cepat 2 markah. Alright, kalau tak ada, then the easiest way is for you to highlight your data. Just highlight data ni. Okay, choose your data. Boleh. Choose your data. Dah choose data, lepas tu tekan dekat in your keyboard, klik alternate and HOI. Alternate. Dekat your keyboard, just click button alternate plus H, lepas tu H plus O plus I. Alright? So alternate HOI, tak perlu, HOI tu tak perlu tekan sekali, alright? Highlight your data. Highlight your data. Alternate HOI, and alternate HOA. And your data columns and everything. Boleh? Again, HOI tu tak perlu tekan sekali. Maksud dia just klik alternate, HOI, lepas tu HOA. Again, highlight your data. Alternate HOI and satu lagi alternate HOA. Right, highlight your data. alternate, lepas tu tekan HOI, HOI and HOA. And your data akan looks nice compared to the original data. Boleh sampai sini okey? Boleh ke adik-adik?
Boleh.
Siapa yang tak okey let me know sebab dekat your test nanti, during your test nanti, saya akan bagi awak data yang bentuk dia macam tu. So you'll not be able to answer your question kalau you tak nampak your data, and you cannot afford to waste your time untuk buat satu-satu. Some of you akan buat satu-satu kan, for example macam ni lah. Apa yang you akan buat, you akan click one by one, alright? Macam ni kan, you click satu-satu, and bawah ni pun you akan buat benda yang sama. You boleh buat macam tu kalau data awak sikit, tapi untuk your test later on ataupun your assignment, you have thousands of data, so you tak ada masa nak buat satu-satu. The easiest way is for you to choose your data, alternate HOI and HOA. Sorry. Okay, boleh sampai sini okay? Alright. Now, the next step is for us to learn how to create pivot table. Satu, we will learn how to create pivot table, how to create a pivot chart, and how to further analyze your data. Let us learn this process by answering this question. Alright. First, the question asks you to create the following pivot table and chart, and the question asks you to analyze the total number of customer by region. So let us look at your data. This is your data. So you have series of data. For sales transaction, you have the customer ID, region, east, west, north, south, payment, either by PayPal or credit card, the transaction code, the source of transaction, sales, some other web or through email, the amount of sales, the types of product. We have two product, DVD and book, and time of the day. And the first question asks you to determine the total number of customer by region. First step is for you to create the pivot table. So for you to create the pivot table, you click any of this cell, click kat mana-mana, just put your cursor in any of the cell, mana-mana je. Alright? Kalau yang tertinggal tu, you boleh refer kepada PowerPoint slide yang saya bagi nah. Yang ni kita buat sama-sama. Alright? First step, for you to create your pivot table and for you to answer the question, you can place your cursor in any of this cell yang dalam data. Alright, for example, I put my cursor dekat PayPal, for example. And you can put any cell, in any cell. Alright, lepas tu klik insert and klik pivot table. Sampai sini boleh tak? Click any of this data, insert and click pivot table. And you have two options, whether to create your pivot table in the new worksheet ataupun existing worksheet. And for me, I will choose existing worksheet and click kat tepi ni because I need to choose the specific cell for me to put my answer. Alright, so I will choose existing worksheet and click sebelah kanan ni for me to choose the specific cell for me to put my answer. So for example, saya pilih yang ni and press enter. Okay. Alright, boleh ke sampai sini okay ke adik-adik? Boleh?
Boleh.
Boleh, sir.
Kejap saya nak turn off my video ni sebab internet saya jadi agak sangat-sangat lembab kalau saya turn on my camera. Kejap Right. Okay. Now, the next step, kalau you refer kat sini, saya bagi instruction, dapat tak? Nampak tak yang apa tu? Words ni. For you to answer the question, dia kata place region in rows, customer ID in values and set to count. So kita just simply follow the instruction. So for you to answer the first question, to get the total number of customers by region, so region in rows, customer ID in value. So apa you buat? You keluar tak tepi ni data ni? Region, tarik kepada rows, amount, tarik kepada value. Boleh? Customer ID, sorry. Customer ID, tarik dekat value. And sampai sini okay?
Okay.
And if you check your value, kalau nampak kat sini, dia letak sum. So instead of sum, you klik kat ujung ni, change, klik value field setting, klik value field setting and change to count. Then you akan dapat the number of customers from east, north, south and west. The total number of customers is 472. Sampai sini boleh adik-adik?
Boleh.
Ada soalan? Now, next step, you'll be able to create chart. Based on this table, you should be able to create your chart. Again, place your cursor in any of this data inside the table. Click kat sini, for example, and click insert and recommended chart. Again, for you to create your pivot chart, you need to place your cursor in any of this table, data on this table, click insert and pivot chart, recommended chart. Alright, so say for example I choose this chart, they can create automatically, the chart will automatically be created by the by Excel. Sampai sini okay? Boleh tak adik-adik?
Boleh, sir.
Okay, boleh And next, kalau tertinggal please let me know. And untuk your chart, you can manipulate your chart by inserting few info. For example, kalau kita nak data in this particular chart, then you can simply click yang plus kat tepi ni and choose data label ataupun data table, whichever yang you rasa suitable ataupun penting untuk you. Alright. So in this case, I will choose data label yang atas ni, and I will choose to include data table. So jadi macam tu. Alright. So kenapa saya perlu letakkan data table? Sebab dalam, for example, in your thesis, in your reports, saya perlu minimize the numbers of table. So by using only this particular chart, saya dah tak perlukan table ni later on. Alright, saya tak perlu present this particular table, and this chart alone is sufficient for me to present my data. Sampai sini okay, adik-adik? Okay, and the next step, my next question, again satu markah, how to change, for example, in this particular data, you have data in terms of numbers. Say for example, your lecturer, your supervisor, your boss, your manager would like you to change, instead of using numbers, your manager asks you to change this into percentage. How to do that? Instead of numbers, for example, 98 from east, 85 from north. If, for example, your boss decided to use percentage instead of numbers, they ask you to use percentage, apa you perlu buat? You click any of this data, alright, right click and choose kat sini show value as percentage of grand total. You tak perlu nak buat manual calculation. For you to change these numbers into percentage, you don't need to manually calculate everything. You can simply choose any of this data, right click and choose show value as percentage of grand total. Boleh? Lepas tu yang ni boleh tukar lah. For example, saya tak suka decimal places, so just letakkan 0 decimal. Okay. Ataupun say for example, you like to present both, satu number, satu percentage. So apa yang perlu buat? Just copy your data, masuk ke bawah ni, and maybe yang ni tukar dalam bentuk number. So satu number, satu lagi dalam bentuk percentage. Bolehkah adik-adik? Ada soalan?
Sir, ulang balik yang Sir buat number tu tadi.
Yang awal ni, yang ni.
Yes,
Alright. Originally dia macam ni. Alright, this is your original data. Say for example, your boss decided kata you need to present your data in terms of percentage. So you have two options. The first option is for you to change your data in the original table. So katakanlah table ni you nak tukar, you can simply choose any of this data, right click and pilih bawah ni show value as percentage of grand total. Nampak tak yang ni? Okay. Choose yang tu and dia tukar daripada percentage. Okay. Ataupun if your boss decided to present both data. First one is on the absolute data numbers and the other data is on, the other table is on percentage. So you can simply copy data ni, copy table ni, masuk ke bawah. Alright. So click any of this data, right click and choose no calculation. Kalau you nak tukar kepada original data, you can simply use ataupun choose no calculation, dia akan tukar kepada your original data. And again, you can simply create new variable ataupun new table. Boleh? Sampai sini okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, apa lagi yang kita boleh manipulate? Now, next analysis yang you boleh buat, kata kalau your manager kata graph ni tak cantik, dia nak you susun daripada ascending for example ataupun descending daripada kecil ke besar. For example, value kat sini 20, 18, 20 and 40, 25. So your boss nak you buat daripada kecil ke besar. So apa you buat? You click this data. Alright. Katakanlah kita nak yang the first row ataupun first chart should be the smallest one, 18.01. So apa you buat? Klik yang ni. Alright. Click this data. And tukar dia, tarik dia pergi atas. Tarik dia sampai ke atas. And your data akan bertukar. Okay. Unfortunately, you cannot do this automatically. You need to do this manually. Ataupun for example, you nak tukar daripada besar ke kecil. So apa you buat? Choose this data. And tunggu dia tukar, tarik dia pergi atas. And dia akan manually change everything. Automatically change everything, alright? Then the second is this one. Macam itulah. Okay. Boleh ke adik-adik? Ada soalan? Of course, data ni you boleh manipulate kemudian. Bukan manipulate lah, right? And then you can change ikut kesesuaian lah, right? For example, in terms of your chart presentation, your types of chart, okay? Boleh. Sampai sini okay ke?
Sir,
Ada soalan? Ya.
kalau kita tarik yang besar tu naik atas, yang bawah auto ikut ke?
Yang macam mana?
Yang tadi saya tarik 40 tu naik
Yang ni?
atas kan?
Ni?
Yang
Kalau
bawah
saya
tu,
ubah dia ke bawah sini, your chart akan berubah. Dia ikut sequence dia lah, boleh?
boleh sir?
Sir,
Ya.
saya rasa saya salah tekan lah. Saya buat dia tolak ke atas tapi dia keluar mana lain. Dia keluar Formula 1. Dia ada keluar Formula 1. Betul 0%.
Apa yang awak tekan? Saya tak tahu apa yang awak tekan.
Saya buat macam sekejap tapi tak tahu.
You
Salah.
kena klik both.
Ya.
Both data ni, baru boleh tarik. Baru boleh pindahkan. Boleh? Just undo everything then buat semula.
Okay, siap saya.
Okay, no problem. Okay, sambil-sambil kita tunggu your friends, ada satu lagi item yang penting. Now, sometimes you akan manipulate your cell kat sini untuk besarkan, kecilkan depending on your data lah, right? So for example, kata kalau saya ubah ni besarkan, you all aware tak graf saya, chart saya ikut membesar. Okay? Whenever I change the cell size ataupun cell ni, row ataupun column, the chart will automatically berubah besar atau kecil depending on the size of the cell ataupun column. Faham? So, kalau you tak nak yang ni terjadi, apa you perlu buat? For example, kita tak nak dia membesar. Katakanlah kita nak adjust column, tapi kita nak our chart remain in terms of size, dia fixed. So, apa you perlu buat? You can simply double click. Double click ni, nanti dia akan keluar kat tepi ni. Alright, double click your chart. Lepas tu klik item ni, properties. Again, double click your chart and click this item, properties, size and properties. Click property, choose don't move or size with cell and choose this one. Click this one, do not move or size with cells. Once you choose this option, your chart in terms of size will remain the same, fixed regardless of the size of your cell. Maksudnya kalau kita besarkan cell apa semua pun, your size, your chart akan remain the same. Dia tak akan berubah in terms of size. Alright. Again, double click your chart, click size and properties, choose do not move or size with cell. Bila you choose this option, your cells in terms of size, your graph will fix to that specific size of chart. Dia tak berubah size dia. Ataupun you tarik bawah pun sama. Alright? Boleh? Ada soalan? Boleh ya? Alright. Kalau tak ada soalan, let's continue. Semua yang ini pun sama, tapi kita buat satu-satu so that you boleh buat practice. Next question asks you to determine the total sales amount by region. Tadi kita letakkan the total number of customers by region, and the second question asks you to determine the total sales amount by region. So instead of starting from the beginning, maksudnya you choose your cells and everything, apa you buat? For you to answer this question, you can simply copy the previous data table instead of starting from the beginning of the analysis. For you to save your times and everything, copy the existing table, copy this table, masukkan dekat bawah ni. Alright, and just change your data. And this analysis requires you to determine the total sales amount by region. So check kat sini. Yang tadi kita pakai customer, so remove customer, unclick yang ni, remove customer and letakkan amount ke bawah ni. Okay, and you akan dapat the total sales amount by region, and the total is 18,804. Again, you can create chart for this particular data. Again, data ni saya copy daripada ni and change your particulars. For example, untuk this case, since the question asks you to calculate the total sales amount by region, so I will put region in the rows and amount in the values column, and the values should be sum. In terms of ni, dia punya calculation dia sum. And this would be your chart for total sales amount by region. Again, I can simply put my data table and data label kalau nak lah. Okay. Any question nak tanya? Chapter 3 ni senang je lah sepatutnya lah, okay. Any question nak tanya? Ada soalan? Boleh?
Ya.
Ya,
Macam mana nak ada balik kotak yang tepi tu?
kotak yang
Yang belah kanan tadi tu. Yang ni.
kalau you klik ni dia terus ada sepatutnya lah. Ataupun yang kotak ni ke awak kata tak ada? Okay, you pergi data ni ada.
Data ni ada?
You klik data ni, you right click. Lepas tu kat bawah tu ada field setting.
Okay.
Atau sorry, bawah ni ada pivot table option tu. Semua-semua tu lah ada tak bawah. Bawah ni ada apa yang dekat awak? Katakan saya delete ni. Alright. Betul tak macam tu kan awak punya?
Macam tu.
Klik data tu. Lepas tu bawah tu ada show field list.
Ada. Okay.
Boleh tak?
Boleh.
Alright.
Boleh tak tu ulang balik yang bawah ni?
Bawah ni?
Nak bagi dapat 442 tu.
442 mana? Ini?
Tadi kan saya ada tukar customer ID dengan region tu. Saya tak dapat.
Okay. Dia macam ni. First, saya copy daripada atas ni sebab saya malas nak start daripada awal, alright? So, apa kita buat? Kita copy je ni. Copy data yang sebelum ni, alright? Paste kat sini. However, since the question asks you to calculate the total sales, dia nak sales. So, tunjukkan ni kejap. Saya tak ada tepi tu. Okay. So, customer ID ni remove. Masukkan amount kat bawah. So, kat sini region. Kat sini amount. So, this would be your total sales for by region. So, tukar kalau nak, ni dapat ditukar jadi duit je lah. Alright, RM. Macam tu lah. Boleh?
Boleh, sir.
Okay. So, again, you should be able to create chart, suitable chart for this particular data. Click insert, recommended chart, and using this chart lah. Okay, kalau kita nak rearrange, kita boleh rearrange. For example, saya nak 7,000 dulu. Katakanlah largest to smallest. 7,000, 4,000, 4,000, so macam tu lah. Alright, so kita boleh rearrange. And I can also insert ataupun include the data table and data label for this particular graph ataupun chart. Kalau you nak bagi cantik lagi chart you all, you boleh double click and choose any of this chart. No problem, alright? So for example, kat sini kita ada chart. The type of chart, you boleh pilih different types of chart yang sesuai, right? So kata macam ni, then you boleh pilih different types of chart. Dia adalah banyak clustered and everything, okay? No problem. Tapi untuk ni kita belajar dulu macam mana buat. Okay? Any question adanya? Now again yang ni pun sama, alright? Total sales of DVD by book, of DVD and book by region. Again, simply copy the formula macam tadi. Copy the above data and edit your data. So instead of using amount, kita gunakan region, kita gunakan product and amount. Macam tu, so kita akan dapat total sales of DVD and book. Sorry, dia kata by region, right? By region, so kita letak kat sini region. So again, the question asks you to determine the total sales of DVD and book by region. So apa kita buat? We need 3 types of data. Satu sales, satu types of product, and satu lagi region. So region kita letak dekat rows. Product kita letak dekat column. And the amount kita letak dekat values. Alright, so yang ni question yang ni lah. Alright, yang ni. So region in rows. Yang ni. Region in rows, product in column, and amount in values. Sebab dia kata total sales, so kita gunakan sum. That's why kita gunakan sum. Again, kalau tak suka dalam bentuk ringgit, you boleh letakkan dalam bentuk percentage. So 29%, 39% sales datang daripada this particular region, for example, right? Because sometimes it depends on the objective of your presentation, and most of the time kalau kita present sales and everything, kita tak perlukan the exact sales in terms of ringgit. It is more beneficial for the management to know in terms of percentage. For example, the largest percentage of sales comes from this particular region. So kita nak tahu berapa persen datang daripada this particular region and the other regions. So that the company can concentrate on that particular region yang dia nak increase sales ataupun nak reduce cost and everything, alright? So you can present your data in terms of the absolute numbers, ringgit ataupun numbers, and you can also present your data in terms of percentage, alright, depending on the objective of your presentation. Okay, and the next item, gunakan benda yang sama, tapi dia kata total number of orders for DVD and ni by region. So kita buat benda yang sama, tapi instead of amount, kita boleh gunakan custom ID. Custom ID and gunakan, instead of sum, kita gunakan count. Because the question asks you to calculate the total number of orders. Yang ni should be in terms of numbers. For example, in terms of numbers, yang ni, general. Okay, the total numbers of orders for DVD based on this column, based on this chart, the total numbers of orders for DVD and book is 472, 85 datang daripada north, 98 east, 99 south, and west 190. Macam itulah. Alright, and again, similar to the first exercise, you should be able to create relevant chart for this particular table. Ada soalan lagi? Alright, so yang lain nanti buat. Let us look at the last item. For example, yang ni, total sales by region, product, and source. Let us look at the fifth analysis, the combined and advanced analysis. The question asks you to determine the total sales by region, product, and source. These types of analysis, kalau biasa kita panggil sebagai cross tabulation. You like to tabulate different categories of item into one particular table. So your analysis known as cross tabulation. So yang ni kita panggil sebagai cross. Kalau orang selalu sebut cross tab, tapi kalau formally dia panggil sebagai cross tabulation. Cross tabulation of data because we're combining different types of data in one particular table. So for you to answer this question, you check kat sini, cross tabulation yang bawah ni nombor 5, dia kata total sales by region, product, and source. So for you to answer this question, you will need to put region in row, product in column, and source in filters, and amount in values. So these are the things you need to do. So let us do this. So apa you buat? Again, copy your data. Copy data daripada atas tadi sebab malas nak buat baru. So you can simply copy the data. Sebab since we're using the same data range, so you can simply copy the data. Tak perlu nak buat daripada awal, alright? Number 5. Yang ni tadi. So what you need to do is for you to put region in rows. Ini betul lah, kita keluarkan semua ni. So kita ada region in row, product in column. Product ni kita letak dekat column. Okay. And payment in filters, payment in filter. Lepas tu satu lagi amount in values. Amount in values kita pakai sum. Okay. Sampai sini dapat tak yang ni? So these are the total sales by region, product, and source. Kita tukar kepada ringgit lah. assuming kita nak buat ringgit, kita tukar ni kepada ringgit because it is total sales data. Okay, sampai sini boleh?
Boleh.
Okay, now kalau you aware kat atas ni ada filter the types of payment. Okay, so apa you perlu buat kalau you klik kat sini, ini kita panggil sebagai filter. So you can change your data by choosing any of these types of payment. So kalau you tak pilih apa-apa, dia akan pilih all types of payment, PayPal and credit. Say for example, I like to have a data for PayPal only. So you klik ni, klik PayPal saja, right? So dia akan keluar untuk PayPal, okay? Or for example, saya nak data untuk credit. So data untuk kredit, klik kredit and dia akan keluar data untuk kredit. Okay, so maksudnya kalau you dapat data untuk kredit, copy, masuk kat tepi. For example macam itulah, ini data untuk kredit and you choose another one, data untuk PayPal and dia akan ada data untuk PayPal. So daripada satu data ni, you boleh create multiple types of analysis, alright? So for example, kita ada kat sini, kita ada data untuk all. From this particular table, the origin table, kita buat filtering based on different types of data. Yang ni data all. Lepas tu kita boleh dapatkan credit, kita boleh dapatkan data untuk PayPal alone. So kita gunakan filter function. Sebab tu kita letakkan sini filter. And you can change your filter by using different types of filtering, for example customer ID, source and everything, right? So for example, instead of payment, kata kalau saya nak buat filter based on source, so saya letak kat sini filter. So source kita ada dua, web and email. So you boleh tukarkan filter based on your requirement or the objective of your analysis. So boleh tukarlah filter ni, maksudnya boleh tukar-tukar. Kat sini kita punya filter based on payment. So instead of payment, we can change your filter maybe based on source ataupun you can have both. Alright, so for example kita nak payment using credit and maybe source based on email for example. So you can have multiple filter. Filter ni kalau kita belajar sebelum ni, remember you ada gunakan if function. Kan you ada gunakan if function, please calculate the total sales for this product and this company. So previously kita gunakan manual calculation, we manually calculate the specific requirement and sekarang kita belajar how to use filter to get the same answer. So yang ni kita panggil sebagai the filter ataupun dalam formula tu your if function yang ni lah. If the payment is by credit and if the source is email, please calculate the total sales for west, south, east and north for each of these product, book and DVD. Right? So macam tu lah. Any question adik-adik semua? Boleh dah? Dekat chapter 3 ni, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 is quite easy. So kita akan spend more time on discussing your chapter 5. Your chapter 5 is on hypothesis testing and the most difficult topic untuk your syllabus would be chapter 5. Hypothesis testing ataupun kita panggil sebagai inferential statistic. Alright, so yang ni tak ada apalah, tapi it is still important because it will be part of your individual assignment and as well as your group assignment. Alright, this analysis, this chapter will be part of your individual and group assignment. So you need to make sure you understand, you know how to create pivot table, pivot chart and how to change the parameters inside this particular table. Right, so any question nak tanya? We have few other question and the last exercise for today is for us to create dalam ni dia kata lah convert all total into percentage, integrated total, create pie chart or 100% stack column for visualizing percentage, alright? So kalau in terms of data dalam percentage, maksud dia katakanlah this data you nak tukar dalam percentage. Kalau data dalam percentage, the best types of data visualization you kena gunakan. Sekejap saya create satu lagi data ya. Katakanlah data kita dalam bentuk numbers and the best types of chart would be bar chart ataupun ni, right? So katakanlah ini. Okay, this would be your chart. If your data dalam bentuk percentage, katakanlah data kita dalam bentuk percentage, and the best way for you to present percentage data, gunakan pie chart. Sekejap Kalau data you all dalam bentuk percentage, so the best way for you to present your chart is by using your pie chart. So insert recommended chart. So kita boleh gunakan pie chart for example. So this would be your pie chart. Alright. Kalau dalam bentuk percentage, usually people will use pie chart to present their data, and similar to bar chart, you can choose specific data that you would like to include. For example, in this case, saya nak masukkan data label. So macam itulah. Alright, so in terms of percentage, gunakan pie chart. Kalau dalam bentuk yang lain, you can simply use your bar chart or any other chart. Okay. And based on the exercise, sebenarnya the exercise suruh kita buat satu-satu, okay. Each of this data, you will need to determine data dalam bentuk calculation biasa, percentage and everything, alright. So let us look at the final analysis. Yang lain you boleh buat, okay. The total sales of each product by source. Again, copy the data daripada atas. Sebab kita malas kan, kita malas nak buat satu-satu. Just simply copy your data. Katakanlah saya nak buat yang ni. Number 3, the total sales by payment method. Alright, the total sales by payment method ialah nombor 3. Payment in rows. So yang ni kita padam dulu semua ni. Payment in rows. Lepas tu amount in values. Amount masukkan dekat values. So these are the total sales by payment method. So total sales by using credit is 12,000 and total sales by using PayPal is 6,000. See, the total sales is 18,000 ringgit. Right? So now, any question nak tanya? So exercise yang lain you boleh buat Exercise yang lain, please do the other exercise. If you have question, you can simply masuk dekat kelas semula and ask question. Starting next week, kita akan start masuk the most difficult chapter, that is on hypothesis testing. So kita akan habis masa dalam 2 or 3 weeks untuk that particular chapter. Cuma untuk next week, mana kelas rep? Ketua darjah mana? Ada ketua darjah?
Ketua darjah ada, betul.
Ada. Minta maaf. Alright, sebab saya prefer ketua darjah tu nampak lagi personal compare dengan kelas rep tu nampak macam awak ni tinggi sangat untuk saya capai, right? So, okay. Danish kan?
Betul.
Okay, Danish dengan siapa lagi satu? Saya tak ingat nama dia satu lagi.
Zawana.
Seorang lagi siapa?
Zawana.
Okay, Zawana. So, next week tak ada kelas dah. Next week, 22 hari bulan sampai 25, saya akan ke Langkawi untuk kursus. So, tak ada kelas lah. Monday memang cuti kan? Monday cuti. So Tuesday sampai Friday saya ada kursus. So apa saya akan buat? Saya akan bagi few task videos